All right, gonna look at tire rotation today. First, get your level surface, of course. A few things you'll need. Need a quality jack. This is one that I actually acquired from my father-in-law. Some jack stands. I need 4, honestly, to be safe. But we're gonna go with the 2 on the front and the jack in the rear. Using that rear chunk for a lifting point. A lot of people don't like that. I find it to be just as effective and safe and doesn't hurt the rear end. So for a rear-wheel drive vehicle, also you'll need a lug wrench, of course, to get the lug nuts off. If you got an impact driver, great. You can move them a lot easier. But for basic tools, that's the most you'll need, honestly. If you don't have anything else, you can get by with that. Manufacturers recommend changing tire rotation every, some say 3,000, some say up to 10,000 or even longer. So check your tire manufacturer first and see when they recommend rotation. But for a rear-wheel drive vehicle, we're going to do a rear cross. So we're going to take the rear tires and move them to the front on the same side. We're going to take the front tires and we're going to crisscross them. So the front driver's side will end up on the rear passenger side, and vice versa for the passenger side front will end up on the driver's side rear. That's on a rear-wheel drive vehicle. You can do an X pattern where you take and just X them from, say this right rear would end up on the left front, and vice versa here, an X pattern them. For a front-wheel drive vehicle, the difference would be, say for my wife's Traverse, you would go with a crisscross pattern from rotating the front wheels straight back to the rear and taking the rears and crisscrossing them. We're not going to be doing that on hers today. She needs new brake pads, and we'll get another video on that. But I'm going to do the front cross where the front tires, or the rear tires, move straight to the front and the front tires crisscross to the back. And that's what I'm going to do here. The X pattern will actually work as well on a front-wheel drive vehicle, where you just X cross everything. But I find this to be the most effective for my vehicles so far. You can use whatever method works best for you. But just talking about that, and what I was thinking about today is that same maintenance, you got to maintain these tires. If they're going to stay in line and they're going to wear evenly and have the most life and the best life, the same applies to us, in our relationship with God. And I'll be the first to admit that I don't maintain these vehicles as often as I should, but I certainly don't maintain, my relationship with God as often as I should. And how do you go about that? With vehicles, it's easy. You've got an owner's manual, right? And they tell you when to do what, when to change your oil, how much oil, what kind of oil. They tell you all the electrical components, all the little things that you need to do to keep that vehicle in top running shape. For us as Christians, if you call yourself a Christ follower, you've got the Bible and you've got prayer. Prayer is the time that we can spend with God, and that Bible is our manual. It is that owner's manual. I know it's a cliche. I've heard it. I've said it, and I just said it again. Hey, little buddy. I see. You see these balloons? But for us, the best way to maintain life with God and to have that Christ-like relationship is going to be to use that owner's manual. Actually get into your Bible. Read it. Do you know what's in it? Could you defend it if necessary? Are you truly following Christ? The only way you know is if you know what he did. That's the end of it, is that if you don't know what's in that Bible, it's hard to defend. It's hard to say why you believe what you believe. It's almost impossible to defend if you don't know what's in there. And beyond that, you need to know what happened beyond just the Bible. I found recently that to defend it, I've had to know more. I've had to know things outside of the Bible, history of Christ, what he did from other sources. Make sure they're credible sources, but there were historians that recorded what Jesus did. Some of them weren't even believers, but they were saying, hey, this man's doing amazing things. Don't know who he is. They didn't ever recognize him as the Messiah, just as the Jews didn't. But find those credible sources that you can use that will give you something to back up what you believe in. Do you truly believe it? Okay, that's the things that we spend our time on are the things that we care the most about, right? Spend your time with God. If you care about God and if you call yourself a Christ follower, follow him. Use your time wisely. We've only got a short while here to make a difference. So stay after it and stay after God.